Cap and trade, the expensive plan to limit carbon dioxide emissions through taxes and regulation, should have been a slam dunk. The president wanted it, the left wanted it, even some corporations wanted it. But cap and trade died, at least temporarily. The collapse of cap and trade was surprising, but it may be yet another sign that the global climate change movement is in serious decline, the victim of bad science and exaggerated claims. ClimateGate revealed how scientists were manipulating data to make it look like the Earth was warming faster. The scandal triggered rare media scrutiny of climate science, which in turn led to more admissions of bogus claims. The Himalayan glaciers will not be gone in 25 years. That was based not on scientific data, but on a quote in a magazine article. Rising sea levels are not going to submerge coastal cities, at least anytime soon, as shown in the film The Day After Tomorrow. Another claim debunked. This is the presidential cabinet of the Maldives Islands, which met underwater in scuba gear last year to raise awareness that the island chain might someday be underwater from rising sea levels caused by climate change.
Send our message. Let the world know what is happening and what will happen to the Maldives.
But Dr. Nils Axel Mörner of Sweden, one of the top sea level experts in the world, has known for years that sea levels have not been rising. 9 years ago, he went on a Maldives broadcast to tell the islanders the good news, but he says the government censored the program. After this publicity stunt, Mörner wrote an open letter to the Maldives president telling him again that the islands are not in danger.
When I wrote to the president, an open letter to the president, trying to persuade him to at least consider those things, and he should consider them with happiness if he was a good president, he didn't even answer.
But Mörner's used to being ignored. When the UN was issuing dire warnings about the threat of rising sea levels, it was ignoring Mörner's research.
I was the president at that time of International Commission on Sea Level Changes and Coastal Evolution. I had a group of 400 scientists all over the world. None of those were consulted.
One of America's leading meteorologists, Joseph DeLeo, who helped start the Weather Channel, says the methodology used for proving global warming was unscientific. Weather stations were poorly cited. Data was cherry-picked.
The temperature records are contaminated, unfortunately, especially with regards to the station. The citing of the stations are very important, and they find that 90% of the stations are poorly cited. That don't meet government standards, and they all have warm biases.
And while the UN was relying on bad science, it was hyping the dangers from global warming.
Please help the world.
Whether it's the falling polar bears in this climate change spot, they supposedly die because people ride in jetliners that warm the earth and melt the icebergs, or the cute animals shown committing suicide because they're so depressed about climate change, the world has been subjected to an over-the-top media campaign that climate change is the world's top problem. But concern about it has been dropping around the world, and it recently ranked dead last on Americans' list of concerns. Nevertheless, the White House and the UN still claim that climate change is a threat to mankind, and that carbon dioxide is bad, and that cap and trade is needed.
We must urgently transform the global energy system. We need to grow, but we need to grow green.
Cap and trade could emerge again in the lame duck Congress, and the Environmental Protection Agency has already classified CO2 as a pollutant, something Australian scientist Ian Plimming says is ridiculous.
We've seen big climate changes in the past. None of these have in the past been driven by carbon dioxide. In fact, we've had 6 major ice ages. Each one of those 6 started when carbon dioxide was much, much higher than now. So why is carbon dioxide a problem? It's plant food.
And Plimming doesn't disguise his contempt for cap and trade.
I don't think the devil could have thought of a better method of frightening people and taxing people. What a wonderful thing, cap and trade. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to frighten you witless about living a comfortable Western life. Then we're going to slip our hand into your pocket and take out all the money we can find. That's what cap and trade's about. It's got nothing to do with science.
Republicans claim cap and trade could cost the average family $3,000 a year. The major environmental groups in Washington, none of which agreed to appear in this story, are reported to be hopping mad about the failure of cap and trade. And the pressure is on the Democrats to revive it. Dale Hurd, CBN News.